Hey everybody, Jamie from the Marine Doctors YouTube channel, and I'm back on that 90 horsepower Johnson 1986 that has low compression on a few of the cylinders. Let's go have a look, see what we've got. So what we're gonna do today is, I've got it partially torn down over here on the bench, and I'm gonna tell you guys what happened to this engine and what you can do to help avoid this from happening to yours. Now, this particular engine has damage on the exhaust side. So both these cylinders have damage. There's a slight amount of damage starting over on this side. Can you see that? Not really, but yeah, it's there. And top piston, I'm just not gonna turn it, but there's damage there. Now, what we look for on the inside is this nice clean area. If the engine was just assembled, we would have clean area, but this engine's been running. And while this engine runs, any carbon deposits or any fuel that's been left on there that would stain, so turn it black, gets removed by the steaming water. So how does the water steam? Well, the water, obviously the engine's warm, but as that piston moves up and down in that cylinder, the oil gets washed off the wall between the piston and the wall itself. So once that happens, we get abrasion. Abrasion creates heat. And if you look, you can see we're out of focus, sorry. You can see the scoring lines on the side of that piston. Right? So you know that piston's been moving up and down. Again, it leaves pilling on the inside of the cylinder wall and then coats it with aluminum. Eventually that aluminum gets high enough that it pushes the piston across and it'll start to score the opposite side. So we've got very light scoring that's inside there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Try and lock it in, but it's there, right? Okay, so we know that water got in, but how did the water get in? This is the cover that was on there, and we can see that it is, again, clean down at the bottom where it's been steamed off nicely, and then kind of where it's been firing, but we can also see the swirl marks on there. That means water's been getting at the top cylinders as well. Now, what causes this? Sorry, back to that. When they reassembled this engine after doing the rebuild, they didn't tighten this or torque this properly. Or maybe what they should have done is, we don't know how it originally failed. They probably should have used a sealer on here so that this wouldn't happen again. So outside of the torque, obviously, caused issues. Some of them I could spin off with just a wrench by lightly pushing on it. See, look down the middle, that wasn't tight. And that's where the water gets through. So they didn't torque it, and they didn't correct the initial problem, which possibly is this plate might be warped, or there's some damage here. So they should have used a sealer to alleviate this problem. So we see a lot of these engines coming in with this failure, whether it's the flat back, which is this, or the bubble back, which I don't have, but the typical 140 and newer 115s had that big bulge that was down here at the bottom that stuck out. Those gaskets will fail. Now, a telltale sign of that, outside of removing the heads and looking inside, is we'll typically have some burn marks down on the bottom where the thermostat casing is, the thermostat housing, or we'll see some burn marks on the sides. If we see any kind of discoloration on those sides, i.e. burn marks, we pop that cover off, we clean it up, resurface it if necessary, seal it back up, put it back on. So that's why this engine failed. It was due to water intrusion, due to a failed gasket that was not originally corrected by the original people that rebuilt this engine. So now the guy's on the hook for another, well, what? $3,000, $4,000 by the time it's done. These cylinders are already at 30 thousandths, so we're probably gonna end up taking them up over 40 thousandths. Well, 40 thousandths minimum, I think. I'm hoping we stop at 40 thou. So we'll get it back together and get them back on the water, and I hope this helps you. What do you look for when it comes to water intrusion? Nice clean areas. Now keep in mind, on some product, water intrusion can be done in a different way. This, for example, isn't an insurable engine due to the water getting in. There are cases where if water gets into an engine, it is an insurance claim. That's if the water gets in through the exhaust, gets up and then into the bottom cylinder. I've seen a few of those go through this year already, but unfortunately, this isn't going to be one of them. This is just somebody put it together poorly. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.